We are your election headquarters is the path to 50% plus one. What it means is that to become president of our republic per our laws, you need to get at least 50% of the total valid votes cast plus one vote to be president. And as you've seen us projecting on the screens, we've got results of 258 constituencies. That's provisional results, out of which the NPP's Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo has garnered a little over 6 million of that, representing some 51.32%. And John Mahama has some 5.7 million plus of the votes, representing some 47.28% of the votes, which means we've got 17 constituencies more. And we've used the average turnout of this exercise, which is 79%. And so we will be bringing you what we've arrived at in terms of what more each candidate would need with the 17 results outstanding. But I'll tell you what the Electoral Commission has been telling us overnight, because as you know, they gave themselves 5 p.m. yesterday to do the declaration of the results. But the Electoral Commission boss, Jane Mensah, came out midnight yesterday at a press conference to apologize for their inability to do that. And she gave a number of reasons. She did say the commission had intended and indicated its willingness to declare the 2020 presidential election within 24 hours after the general election. However, they experienced quite a number of challenges, making it difficult for them to fulfill this promise. What had happened, she said, was the unexpected rain that occurred in many parts of the country, resulting in a number of voting interruptions. And then, so people had to stay longer to vote, which meant that the results could not come in early because counting could not begin. Some centers had to continue with voting, which led to delays and the subsequent declaration of results. But she did say something that they're hoping that in the early hours of today, Wednesday, December 9th, they would receive 2 additional results and will thereafter be able to make the declaration. Why is that important? Because she did disclose that they've got 14 of the regions coming through with their results out of the 16, but out of this number, they've certified 7. There are 7 outstanding regions from that interaction yesterday, and I'll run you through by the regions outstanding in a bit. Okay, so here we go. Ashanti, Eastern, Western, Western North, Upper East, Greater Accra, and Savannah. So that's what's outstanding. This morning, we could get 2 coming through from the Electoral Commission, and then they can declare the results. But let's tell you about those who are helping us bring you this coverage. Petrosol, Cowbell Coffee, McDan Shipping and Logistics Limited, Padiva Limited, DDP Outdoor Limited, Festiva, Wutria Lotteries, and Herpaplas Mixture. So let me tell you a bit about McDan Shipping. McDan Shipping has established itself as the market leader in freight forwarding in Ghana since November 1999. McDan Shipping has invested in building a track record of effectiveness in warehousing for both bonded and general haulage, cargo handling, customs brokerage, charter cargo, and project cargo. As if these are not enough, McDan Shipping also gives you the most competitive air freight rates on the market. So choose McDan and experience consistent delivery with all logistics you need. With McDan Shipping, there is a limitless and well-rounded capacity to meet timeliness or timelines with optimum technology, a committed workforce, and a network of over 2,400 sea and airports across the globe. McDan Shipping has the expertise and continues to meet your varied logistics and freight forwarding needs. So look no further. Contact McDan Shipping. They are at Block 10, Aviance Cargo Village, Kotoka International or Kotoka Airport. Or you can just go to their website, which is www.mcdanshipping.com, or simply just give them a call, 0302 762 280 or 024 999 1199. McDan Shipping, your total logistics partner. Now, due to hard times, we have become value hunters, but are we hunting for value the right way? Remember, your engine is more valuable than just cheap fuel. Be smart, hunt for holistic value. Holistic value is when you have quality fuel at the right quantity and at a fair price. At Petrosol, we serve clean fuel in full quantity at a fair price, and that is holistic value. So come to us, Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity. Also helping us with the coverage is Cowbell Coffee. You need a cup of it this morning to keep you company throughout this coverage. Wake up every day to that great feeling from a delicious creamy coffee aroma from Cowbell Coffee, and enjoy the delicious creamy Cowbell Coffee. Taste Cowbell Coffee. Taste it. Definitely love it. Now, DDP Outdoor Limited, Ghana's leading out-of-home advertising company, providing your organization with solutions in outdoor advertising, airport advertising, and large format digital printing, indoor and outdoor. You can reach the sales team of DDP Outdoor on these numbers: 054 143 1043 or 0244 407894. Better still, call them on 024 258 7923. DDP Outdoor Limited, 7 great brands. Another brand associated with our election coverage, the 2020 elections, is Festiva Brands. Thinking of what to make your cooking special? Well, Festiva is what you need. Festiva has all you need to make your food special. So for your delicious breakfast, lunch, dinner, Festiva has got you sorted. The products include Festiva jasmine rice from Thailand and Vietnam. They also have mackerel, sardines, mayonnaise, baked beans, soy sauce, prawn crackers, evaporated milk, condensed milk, cereal milk, soya milk. They've got a whole lot of range, a whole lot of products to choose from. Festiva products, and make every meal tasty. Remember, Festiva is your best bet if you have a foodie family. For bulk purchase, kindly contact them on 0540 122 003. Festiva, adding flavors to your life. Let me tell you about Hepa Plus Mixture. Hepa Plus Mixture strengthens the immune system to help fight infections. Hepa Plus Mixture helps the liver and other vital organs to correct problems such as excess body fat, overweight, menstrual disorders, sexual weakness, high sugar levels, general weakness, and a lot of other things. Plasmox Mixture treats malaria in just 4 days. Just one bottle of Plasmox treats malaria by correcting your symptoms of malaria within 1 hour. And Pavi Mixture is an immune system support which makes your blood cells healthy to function correctly. So Hepa Plus Mixture is for our general well-being and hence recommended for everyone. Grab Hepa Plus, Plasmox, and Pavi. They're available in all drugstores, pharmacy, or herbal shops near you at a cost of 10 Ghana cedis only nationwide. You can call Ebenage Herbal Production and consult for any of these products on 0542 778 572 or 0549 297 463. And are you tired of spending money on inferior products for your homes and offices? Are you suffering from back pains and other heart-related diseases? Do you know sitting for long hours poses a lot of health problems? Well, one must therefore use office furniture, which lowers the risk of back pain and other heart-related diseases like weight gain, high cholesterol level, stiffness of the thigh and leg muscle. These desk you would find at Padiva Limited, your home of modern furniture. They brought in durable but affordable stand-up desk, not only to improve your health, but also to enhance productivity. It's been engineered so that you can adjust it to a preferable level, suitable to work with. They've got manual and electronic adjustable desk for your laptops and desktop computers, and also for general use. It's mobile and user-friendly. So walk into Padiva Limited for your affordable home and office furniture today. They are located at Asylum Down, 30 meters from the runabout. You can call them 0244 533 153 or 0265 136 135. or 0302-220-347. Their website is www.padevaltd.com. It's PADEVALTD.com. The Facebook page is Pad-Eva Limited. Pad-Eva Limited, your home of modern furniture. Now, here's a way to kill your stress. You can jump into Trotsky's on busy appointment days with only 5 Ghana cedis. Dial *787# now to play and drive home a brand new Toyota Corolla with 5 Ghana cedis per this Saturday, 12th of December 2020. Some tickets or same tickets qualify you to back home the new big 395,000 Ghana cedis jackpot. Same draw day with thousands more cash prize. Grab your Toyota Corolla keys now with only 5 Ghana cedis by dialing *787# now to play and win your tier rubber ride. It is *78 or *787#. Ghana's premier and biggest jackpot lottery. This is your election headquarters. You know, we are your home of credible, fearless journalism. We've been covering the 2020 general elections. I am linking you back to Studio 997, where Kojo Yangsing is standing by with our guests.
Mama V for wrapping up a lot of the details for us quite succinctly. And of course, our live coverage continues. Our guests helping us with the very fascinating analysis. Dr. Seidu Alidu is a political scientist from University of Ghana. And Clara Berry Kasati is a law lecturer also from the University of Ghana. And the permutations are endless if you think about it. How this election could turn out and what it would mean for governance. But will it even come to that? Or will we end up with a clear majority for one party and a clear win for that same party in the executive elections? We will find out. We will find out eventually right here on your election headquarters. But so many of you have been sending your messages through, showing that you're listening, paying avid attention, giving us some interesting feedback as well. We got some clarification. Dr. Liman's government, he didn't have another party in majority in parliament. He actually had a coalition majority, including his own party in parliament. But, they had a slightly different system, not so much of a hybrid system as we have today. And so parliamentarians became an obstacle because they felt they were not being treated well. So thank you very much, Mr. Nekwe Tete, for that clarification. Charles Rekumbrube, Dr. Charles Rekumbrube Tarzan is watching, paying attention, and he says, and this is interesting, by the way, he says that our constitution has its own peculiarities, which would ensure that there will be very little gridlock if there is a skirt and blouse outcome. That's worth exploring to see how that would work out. Thank you very much for that. Seth Tekwe, former finance minister, also makes an intervention, and he says the Liman experience is why every finance minister and majority leadership, especially the chief whip, make sure that they have the numbers, especially minister MPs present for critical budget votes, especially the appropriations bill. A whole government would be shut down if that doesn't happen smoothly. So yes, so much to explore and consider. I want us to spend a bit of time on something else for a while, and then because this is not going to go away, we'll come back to it, no doubt. But overnight, there were, as usual, a series of press conferences. This party holds a presser, and then while it's on, the other party starts a presser to respond to what you are actually listening to. And then it goes on and on and on, and this cycle continues, occasionally broken by a presser from Kodeo or a presser from the EC, and then it goes back to the parties again, and everybody has their own messaging, Let's talk again about how these things have an impact on the process, on the psyche of the people, and even on the media's ability to report impartially what is going on. You followed the presses last night?
I followed some of them.
Give us your views.
Oh, it's to be expected. I wasn't surprised. It's to be expected because people have invested, people have campaigned very hard, people have invested in the campaign and in the elections and all of that. And people have their voters, their political party supporters that they need to keep energized because the process is not over. You still need your people's support throughout the coalition to monitor the process and ensure that everything is done correctly until the declaration is made. It is only after the declaration is made that the process to some extent is over. So it's to be expected. That is why, of course, the state body usually has to do everything it has to do and keep the people abreast at each step of the way. Every constituency, even if it is one, put the information out, the people are able to follow. But as for the process, and it's to be expected. Humanly, of course, I'm sure that the two major political parties, for example, are both keen to see whether they are winning the presidential or not. I expect that largely for the parliamentarian, they should know. Largely for the parliamentarian, I'm sure that each PC who contested, a large number of them know whether they lost or they won. So they have that. Now both of them are looking towards the presidency and trying to keep morale in their various camps very high. So the process are to be expected. What, of course, yes, so we expect them to say what they need to say to keep the morale in camp high, just not incite people to misbehave and all of that. And then the EC is also doing its job in keeping the people calm and patient whilst they go through the process, because in this, accuracy, transparency, very important. So it's not surprising. I think it's part of the electioneering process and all of that.
We can't gloss over some of the details that were shared, though, in these presses. So we know that the presidential candidate for the NDC actually made some pointed accusations. He talked about a claim that the military was working or colluding to somehow change the outcome in some places. He even called on his party members to go out and jubilate because they've won. Now this is different because it was coming from the flag bearer, former President Mahama himself, and then of course the party executives added on to that with their own counterclaims and accusations and so forth. But it's not a detail you can just gloss over and sort of add it to the expected communication, in this season from parties. This is something quite specific. Did that significance strike you? And are there likely to be implications? By the way, it's worth stating that the state had felt a need to come out and respond. So the information minister actually also spoke at a presser to respond to the specific accusations that were made.
Thank you, Kujo. I think before I come to that, I just want to make a little bit of a point. You see, in a democracy, one of the serious tenets of good governance is free media and the freedom of expression. You can never have a well-functioning democracy without free media and the freedom of expression. Why? Because information is very central to governance and to the ability to hold governments to account. So in an election year or in any other crisis situation or whatever dilemma situation that you have, timely release of information is very important, especially from the authorized source. In the absence of this, people get anxious and they get gullible. And at any point in time, people will want to fill that information vacuum. So I believe after the counting and all those things, information people had relied on was what was circulated on social media or what one political party would say in the other. But there were no official kind of report from the EC, so that it will not be people contesting what the EC said if it doesn't tally with what they have, rather than political parties competing each other to tell who actually did what and who didn't do what. But once the EC started last night with the president, said, oh, so far we've had this number of results in, this number has been certified, and this is what is going on. Now you now see that there's calm, because now you have an authorized source giving that relevant information, and then you now have the right to dispute it or not, rather than
officially,
rather than just preying on the gullibility of your situation because there's nothing to speak to. Now, the press conference, though political parties, they want to satisfy their interests. And as long as they do not do something that infringes on the Constitution, they have the free right to express their views. But the point that you made is very, very critical. I listened to that press conference last night. And I think before that, there was a report in a lot of media houses where, I can't remember that constituency. I don't know whether it is in former Born halfway, Techiman or somewhere,
yes,
where an MP, the presiding officer was going to declare a result. Then somebody pushed a chair, a table, and then in the process, the military had to push people and started shooting. You know, I didn't know what actually happened, but when we began inquiry, they said, oh, the presiding officer was going to change the result which has been declared. I don't know whether that was accurate or not. But you see, in the absence of legitimate information, you tend to believe what is available, though cautiously. So I believe the former president was actually referring to that incident, if I'm right, and making that particular point. I know and I believe that in times like this, we have to be very vigilant and also very calm in the way. But I also realize he said his supporters should remain calm, but they will resist any attempt to subvert the will of the people. And I believe in that case, we all have the constitutional right to resist illegal subversion of the will of the people. But maybe it was in the way that he stated it that carried that notion. But I also listened when they asked, I think one of your reporters asked I don't know who spoke to, why did they say they should go out? And then the response was that we believe we have won the parliamentary, and winning the parliamentary is something that you can jubilate over. Do you understand? Whichever way we look at it, I think at this period, we have to be very measured in what we say, especially when we are people who a lot of people look up to. And when our statements can literally be implemented, we have to be really, really, really measured in what we say so that we still retain that accolade of being the best in the sub-region when it comes to democracy. If you go back to history, former, His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has conceded in circumstances that he believed it wasn't right. After 1992 Supreme Court declaration, he thought I disagreed with the court, but I respect. In 2016, His Excellency former President John, he conceded. No, he had to even concede. I think that was the first time it has happened in this country, a sitting president conceding before the EC declares the results. It has never happened. And that has been a remarkable contribution to our peace and I think in all instances where these two candidates did this, they did it for the sake of the country, not for their personal interests. So I still believe we can do it now. And we still have to look back to what actually made us did what we did in 2016 and in 2002. And continue to act in the ways that bring unity and move this country forward. We all look up to them for this country to be peaceful and to move forever. And whatever happens, we'll hold them to account because they signed a peace accord to maintain peace in this country. So we are all looking up to them.
Yeah, and to add to what Dr. Alidu just said, I think we have to start moving on from calling on people that do this, be calm, don't say this, don't say that, to making sure that the institutions of democracy work. Because I believe that if, for example, all the information is there, everybody can see, there's transparency, everybody can see that you've lost. And you still even tell your supporters that you have not lost. And you are asking, they will not mind you. The likelihood that they will not mind you is very high when everybody can see the results for themselves than if people feel that they've been cheated. Because invariably, even for some people as well, if your supporters actually believe that they've been cheated and you also say that, okay, I'm leaving it, and they think you let them down, there's still another problem. If they think that you did not fight very well for them and that they were winning and you caused their loss, for example, we could still have problems. That is where even if you then tell them be calm, another person, not necessarily you, who take up that opportunity and say, no, we are not going to allow you to let them cheat us. So they will follow that person. But I think that once the state institutions do their work professionally, transparently, the results are there on the website. You can pick your own phone or calculator and do the calculation, and you realize that your party lost. It will hurt. It will be painful, but you know you have not been cheated. So to a very large extent, I still believe that, yes, and I think the voting was very transparent. Everybody saw it, the coalition. I think once the process is through, yes, there will be winners, there will be losers. You don't expect everybody to be happy, but some people may have to go back and think of how to come back next time. But I think as a country, we have to start insisting that our democratic institutions do what they are supposed to do. At the end of the day, that is the guarantee. I think it's a surer guarantee for us than relying on the magnanimity of the various leaders of the various factions.
Parties. I get you. Now, you know, you talked about how this is par for the course. This is what happens at this time. The parties hold presses. Yeah. But I wonder whether they never learn. I mean, were we not in the country last election when somebody came and said, we're in a comfortable lead? Today we know it was not true. Today we know this. Why would a party be motivated to follow the same path if indeed they have all got their pink sheets and they know what they've won and what they've lost? Why would any party be motivated to come out and say we've won when we haven't, knowing that the fullness of time will reveal them to have been speaking about comfortable lead again?
Because you see, sometimes, certain times, propaganda is used to win the psychological war. Yeah. In a situation like this, there's psychological anxiety, and all the political parties want to win the psychological war. So you've seen a lot of information apparently with different political party symbols being circulated. Oh, we've won this, we've done this, this is what's happening. You know, all those things is supposed to give you and your supporter and parties that kind of psychological edge. It's not only peculiar to Ghana. Donald Trump was tweeting a lot of things that he couldn't even provide evidence for, just to energize his base and make sure that they don't feel that they've been defeated. But you see, those things are they are short remedies. You know,
it's part of
short remedy. Once you've lost, you've lost. Once you've won, you've won. It will be proven at the end of the day. But for that short period of time that there is that anxiety, you have to morally boost your support base and let them know that maybe there's still a faint element of hope. So sometimes it's even government deliberately use propaganda. No, sometimes they even outright lies to manage a situation up to a point that you can no longer manage it. So sometimes, and that the point that is very crucial is usually the point that they are able to massage their ego up to a point that you know that, oh, they themselves now, so now we know that actually it's not possible anymore. So they will now begin to self-concede, you know, and know that, oh, our leaders are just giving us hope, but we know. So manage that psychological element. And all the political parties, they do it. At the height of the tension,
both of them do it.
At the height of the tension, they will massage the ego of their political parties up to a point that they support them. No, now I think they are just consoling us. So, though in doing those things, we have to be very, very careful because people can take it serious and they may act in ways that is incited by those messages. But I think some fair element is allowed to massage the ego up to a point that you now believe that actually, you know, we've lost it.
Who said wear white and go out and jubilate? Who was it? Who said that?
Somebody said that.
So I remember there was one of the elections, even though they were losing, they said, oh, wear white and go out.
So I think all the political parties, they do it. But sometimes at the point that you get, some people, and to be honest, sometimes it helps some people. Some people die instantly at those
It helps. It's part of it.
It kind of massage your ego small.
Or even your game plan for next time. You are starting your plan for the next time, even within your internal party politics and all of that.
Also grossly underestimate our capacity to take bad news.
Yes.
We think that as Ghanaians we are incapable. It is a disability of ours that we cannot take bad news. I don't know how we came to that conclusion, but everything about our culture and how we give out information about death and so forth. It's all designed. I mean, they will tell you someone is dead. They'll tell you, oh, he's sleeping, he's resting. So our culture
just to slow down the aftershock.
Exactly.
We don't believe that as Ghanaians we are able to take bad news.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Some people even say they are calling you at home. Then you start to.
Why are they calling you?
You see. So I mean, I'll be honest. The thing that matters the most in all of this discourse is peace.
Yeah.
The one thing we cannot compromise, whether we want to, have an entire festival of self-delusion, the one thing that we cannot compromise is peace. And here, of course, at Multimedia, even before the election headquarters kicked off, we had the Joy Peace campaign, because that is far more important to us than one outcome in one direction or the other, one person winning or the other one losing. Peace is far more important. And it cannot be underestimated. And it's not a passive outcome either. It's something we must make happen. How do you assess our efforts so far? And it has been peaceful. Let's make that clarification at the beginning. It's been peaceful, apart from the incidents, the dotted incidents. It has been a generally peaceful election, but it's still ongoing. We are not out of the woods yet. How do you assess the actions we have taken to retain peace?
So I think outside the formal institutions, a lot of informal institutions are playing a lot of significant role. You are looking at the chieftaincy institution, you are looking at our religious leaders, you are looking at the National Peace Council, and all the behind the scenes work they have been doing, the prayers they have been praying, and their ability to speak to their supporters directly. But also the role of civil society in actually committing leadership for political parties to sign peace accord, which can be used against them. But also, I also believe in the conscience of those who want to lead. It looks self-defeatist to actually seek to lead a country and bring development. Then at the end of the day, you end up putting that country in harm's way. So I still believe, even once they say things in public, that deep down them, they know that no, we shouldn't go this path. And at the end of the day, if this country bends, which country are you going to govern? You can. So I think largely the political leaders themselves have people, very important people in authority, opinion leaders, the moral voice in society, speaking to them privately, and also doing a lot of negotiations, the National Peace Council, our religious leaders, our traditional leaders, and all those things. So I think these things is actually working to some extent. And I wish they will continue to do those behind the scene mediation effort, those behind the scene counseling, those behind the scene consoling, up to the point that we get to where we want to get to. I believe we have gone halfway with this element of peace and successful conduct of elections. The other halfway, I think we can cross it. And I believe at the end of the day, it is not only Ghana that you applaud, but these key individuals and those who seek to lead are those that we are going to applaud when everything goes out very well. It's important. The last thing you do is usually what people will think about and remember. So they should act in a way that will remember them in high esteem.
By the way, just before you come in, Clara, a message for you from Amponsa Tewia of Nkwetiakwe. He says you supervised his MPhil and he's enjoying your analysis this morning. Of course, we're talking about peace, but I'm told that we need to take a very quick set of messages from our partners. When we come back, Clara Berry Cassati will give us her assessment of how hard we have worked, or otherwise, for peace in 2020. Let's check in with Mamavi in the Joy News studio. Mamavi, quite a morning we've had. The conversation, the discourse, the analysis from our two guests have been fascinating, and we've seen a picture of certain possibilities of outcomes of this election. And as we continue to discuss these, no doubt, I'm sure there is more going on where you are. Of outcomes of this election. And as we continue to discuss these, no doubt, I'm sure there is more going on where you are.
Right, Kojo, Israel is at the Electoral Commission. You know, in the midnight briefing by the Electoral Commission chair, she did indicate that in the early hours of today, Wednesday, December 9, they will receive 2 additional results and will thereafter be able to make the declaration today. So we're certainly checking in with Israel Lai on happenings at the Electoral Commission head office. But as it is now, here are the certified results, the regions where the Electoral Commission has confirmed that they've received certified results: Volta, Northeast, Central, Ahafo, Upper West, Oti, and Bono. And the outstanding 7, Ashanti, Eastern, Western North, Upper East, Greater Accra, and Savannah. We'll remind you of the numbers again. But what we have compiled is what we've been showing you if you're watching television, the 258 constituencies out of the 275. And that's the result, as you see it there clearly. Out of that, the NPP's Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo is in the lead. He's crossed the 51% +1 mark. And John Dramani Mahama is hovering around 47%. We're grateful to our partners, Petrosol, Cowbell, Coffee, McDonald's Shipping and Logistics Limited, Padiva Limited, DDP Outdoor Limited, Festiva, Wutria Lotteries, and HEPA Plus Mixture. This is where I leave and make way for Benis Abubeidu Lansa, but Kojo Yankson and his guests are with us. You're on your election headquarters. My name is Mama View. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your morning. Back to you, Kojo Yankson.
Thank you so much, Mamavi, for giving us updates all morning. Look, your election headquarters continues. We've got the absolute latest right here. Big stories normally at this time of the morning would have been brought to you by Guarantee Trust Bank. Wouldn't you rather bank with us? Vodafone, the future is exciting, ready. And Latex Foam, your partner for life. Let me tell you a bit more about these 3 partners of ours. Look, we're gradually drawing close to the end of the year. And Guarantee Trust Bank Ghana Limited has amazing offers for all of you, cherished customers. To be updated with these offers, go to any of their 32 branches across the nation to update your information on their database, especially your email address and then contact details. You can also update this data on your internet banking platform from the comfort of your home or office. So don't miss out on any of their exciting offers and services. Update your information today to enjoy the very best of banking services. You want to know more? Just call them on the 24/7 Help Center. The number is 0302 611 560. There's a toll-free number as well, 0800 124 000. Guarantee Trust Bank. Wouldn't you rather bank with us? Now, isn't it amazing when your network cares about you so much that they do amazing things for you? Well, you guessed it, I'm talking about the Vodafone Cash, dropping all charges when you send money to all networks, okay? Wherever you're sending it to, it's free, absolutely free. So go ahead, make payments, show your love, make contributions, send money, all you want via Vodafone Cash to all networks for free. Dial *110# to send cash for free. Ready? Now, are you looking for a sofa? Maybe a 1-seater, a 2-seater, 3-seater, L-shaped sofa. I'm sure you want diverse colors for your home, maybe, your office, your hotel. If you're looking for comfort, durability, quality, and perfect finishing, there's one place for it. It's called Latex Foam, your one-stop shop, whatever your choice or budget. Latex Foam is your partner for life. So it's your election headquarters, our guests, walking us through all the fascinating analysis. Seidu Alidu, Dr. Seidu Alidu is a political scientist from the University of Ghana. Clara Berry Kasati is a legal practitioner and a law lecturer from the University of Ghana. And the whole nation has been hanging on to their every word this morning as we've been breaking things down. And we're doing this because, of course, we are still awaiting even more results. But what we do know, as Mamabi wrapped up beautifully for us, what we do know is that President Akufo-Addo is in the lead with over 51% of the votes that we have verified so far. And we verified votes from 256 of the 275 constituencies. There are more coming in. My colleague Winston Amwa will be joining us with more details shortly. Stay right here for it as it unfolds. But we were talking peace before we took a break. And Clara, I was eager to hear your take on how well or otherwise we have actively worked to have a peaceful outcome of these elections. And we are certainly not out of the woods yet, are we?
Yeah, we are not out of the woods, but as I expected we would do this peacefully, the isolated incidents notwithstanding, because I've always said that one thing we can't take away from the Ghanaian people is the commitment to peace. We can't take that away from the Ghanaian people. We always disagree passionately. We may have heated arguments, but at the end of the day, most Ghanaians, the majority of Ghanaians, prefer their peace. So they will take part in the process to try and make sure that, remember that our motto is freedom and justice.
Yes.
So we like our freedom, we like our peace, but we also have a keen interest in justice. So yes, they would follow the process to make sure that everything works, but eventually the majority of the Ghanaian people always choose peace. And like Dr. Alidu noted, we do have the structures, the internal structures, informal, some of them are, to work and then try to talk to one another, including leadership, to get us to commit to peace and all of that. But our democracy is maturing. And as I say, the more we educate a lot more people have information, people know what is happening, we can trust the system, we see the structures, we see the transparency, everybody follows, and then we know that the justice bit, which is that, okay, this is how it has gone. Yes, I think to a very large extent, we can rest assured that not everybody is going to be happy, and we can't expect everybody to be happy, but as long as we know that everything has been fairly done, everyone was treated fairly, the justice has been catered for, yes, we will go home. Some will celebrate, some will not celebrate, some may not be happy, but eventually we will move on.
Yeah.
So yes, although we are not out of the woods yet, I still expect that our peace, as we started before, during, will continue after the elections. That I'm very confident about in us about.
Now let's assess those who have an even more of a formal obligation to ensure that we have peace. Not just the security services, which we should talk about in a moment, but political leadership. We signed a peace pact just before the election began. The former president and the current president signed a peace pact, which created a formal obligation on them as leaders of parties to ensure that certain things that would jeopardize our peace will not happen, including the inciting of their followers, including a failure to provide justice, which is a prerequisite for peace. All of these things, these obligations are on them. How do you assess their work to ensure that they meet those obligations, some of which are very difficult to carry out, especially when you have to be responsible for other people's behavior?
Okay, thank you, Kojo. I think this kind of formal pact that political parties sign actually imposes a kind of moral obligation on them to make sure that the whole process is conducted in a way that is peaceful. And I think we started it way back. I can remember in 2012, the process was led by IDEG and other civil society organizations, which happened at the Otum Force Palace in Kumasi. Yep. And I remember in 2016, it was done at the State House in Accra here. And then in 2020, it has happened again. So I still believe that those commitments have actually made them to be able to live by the obligations. But one thing we have to make clear is that if this document that they have signed can only work if the processes are seen to be fair, free, and transparent. once we begin to I think it's always conditional. It's built on the condition that everything is done right. Then I will now contribute my part towards the peace. So if there are reasons to believe that the processes is not fair, things are not being done right, or there is a general collusion to subvert the will of the people, or to do something that in itself is undemocratic, then the obligation to now commit to peace begin to wane. Though in most cases, they are still other voices of dissent and reason will still speak to them, and then it is resolved in a manner that is good. But one thing we have to make clear is that democracy is government of laws and regulations. So even where you believe that the processes that has become the condition for you to accept the peace has been breached, there's still a constitutional means to seek redress than to resort to other means that will not augur well for our democratic system. So I believe it is a kind of huge burden to carry. You've signed this on national television before everybody and commit to peace. So even if the processes are not even the way you had expected it to be, there's still an avenue to resort to democratic institutions to right those wrongs, so that you can still execute the obligation that is reposed upon you. And I believe so far so good, and I still believe that no matter what, these two gentlemen in particular will deliver us peace. They have done it in the past, and we still believe they will do it.
Let's talk about the law enforcement, security services. Now, once again, I think it is fair and accurate for me to make that blanket statement that by and large, the election process was peaceful. By and large, there were isolated incidents which will come up for discussion on and on and on until the cows come home. But largely, we can say that on the balance of things, we've had a peaceful election.
Certainly.
Law enforcement has contributed to this. Police, military, immigration services, they've all come together to work throughout this time. But I want us to go a bit further back, because as a nation, I think we are often blessed with warnings. We are often blessed with events that give us rehearsals, to help us do the big thing better. So we had Ayawaso West Wuogon, which resulted in an entire commission being set up. Then there was the white paper from the commission, and now leave others to decide how much of that we have implemented and how much we haven't. Then we had the registration exercise, where all kinds of things happened, which were all supposed to be, if we were paying attention, lessons, things from which we can pick, learning, so that when the big day comes, election 2020, we can avoid such things. Now, we still had pockets of events. We had this shooting which involved the military in Techiman, and perhaps one or two other isolated incidents.
I think Utu Senior, there was also another shooting.
That's right, shooting in Utu Senior. Two journalists were victims of that shooting.
And then to some extent, Odio. There was also another incident, and then subsequent arrest.
Indeed. So yes, some of the flashpoints turned into hotspots, or the other way around, hotspots or whatever. But things happened. Did we learn enough from the rehearsals and the warnings that we were given over the past few years? Could we have avoided even these isolated incidents?
Oh, yeah, I think we did learn something, and I think that has contributed to some of these isolated incidents. It's not being the common story. Yes, we could have done better. For example, I understand that one of the issues that helped the tension in Odio was, I think there was a combination of polling stations and people were agitated and all of that. Of course, we could have managed, we knew from the registration and the processes that, this was one of the hot spots. So you want to take your time and make sure that everything goes on well. There's always one thing I always say you can say for the Ghanaian people. When things are put in order and they can understand what is going on, they cooperate. They can understand what is going on, they cooperate. Of course, you will always have the isolated incidences, or you most of the time have the isolated incidents and all of that. But largely, did we learn? Yes. I think we learned. We, at least, if we take Ayawaso, for example, we didn't have similar experiences as compared to the by-elections and all of that. Can we improve? Yes. And I always come back to state institutions. I always say that, look here, political parties, politicians come and go. So politicians will win elections and lose elections. They come in every so often. One person is there all the time. The constant is the state institutions. The state institutions are always there. Governments may change, but they don't change. They are always there. So the state institutions must be the ones, in fact, not that they must be, they have an obligation to always watch out for the people. They have an obligation to always put the welfare of the interests of the people above everything else. And once they keep improving on that, we are going to get better. Because even for the isolated incidences or the complaints, that it's because people usually feel the system is not treating them well. But once the state institutions are able to do their work, putting the welfare of the people first, treating people dispassionately so that people have confidence in the state institutions, some of these things are going to die down. And very soon, anytime we are going into elections, we wouldn't need to be a bit agitated about whether or not we are going to sing peace. We know it will happen because this is the process. This is what the people are used to. And like we said, we will still expect the process to go on like they are expecting, but we know where to go and find the information. And if we go to the EC website, for example, we see what the information is there. When it comes to that, it's much, much more difficult for people to incite others. It is when information is not available, like Dr. Lidu said earlier on, that whatever is provided to you, even if you are not too sure, but that's all you have. If that is all you have, you may still leave it, even if you cautiously. So once we trust that this is the information coming out, it's gone on through all the correct channels, and we can trust it, the ability to incite others reduces drastically. And then eventually, of course, we all know that, yes, we may have differences in opinion, we may have our preferred political parties, but we know that these are the rules of the game. The relevant state institutions will enforce the rules of the game not just without fear, but also without favor. And then at the end of the day, we all look out to the outcome and work at it. So I think we have learned some lessons, but there is more room for improvement. There is room for improvement.
One guy knocked over a ballot box and immediately got arrested. Beyond that, I can't really think of any example of what we would have traditionally called vigilantism. Have we finally put that menace behind us?
I think in these elections, particularly in the voting process, we haven't seen the activities of these groups so much compared to the Ayawaso Wagon by-election, but also in the registration process. So I tend to believe that the education done by the NCC, the National Peace Council led effort to disbanding these groups, and the passage of the Vigilantism and Other Related Offences Act is actually working. But I don't think they have been completely disbanded. I believe they are somewhere, but maybe because of the relative, yes, they still haven't been given so much role to play in this election, because usually it's the die-hard supporters of the political parties that come out to behave this way, even though in most cases they are rewarded for behaving that way. I still believe there will be die-hard supporters in every political party, and every die-hard supporter is a potential vigilante person in terms of the way they behave and act, especially if the process are not done in a way that respect the democratic institutions. But to be honest with you, from 7th up till now, we have seen that they are less deployed compared to the past, and I also believe the security agencies have drummed home the point that when we see people who are not supposed to be at the polling station being there to cause trouble, we'll deal with them. So that kind of message has also been widely accepted, and I believe wherever you look at in the electoral process, it's either state security institutions, military, police, or immigration, or those things, rather than this so-called. So I think for now they have gone hibernating. I'm not sure when they'll be resuscitated, but I still believe when more effort of engagement and consultation continues after these electoral processes, I believe we should be able to reduce the level at which they operate, if not completely do away with them.
Yeah. So in one of the 2 shooting incidents that we have on record, the Techiman incident, it's the military that is said to have conducted the shooting. Our understanding from the EC's description of their preparations was that the military will always be the backup.
Yeah.
They won't be the force on the ground at the collation center or at the polling station. It'll be the police. Yeah. And then when things get out of hand, the military will come in. How do you assess this? Do you feel that perhaps in the Techiman case, the police just wasn't up to the task and there was a need for the military to be there? Or do you think the police has, by and large, carried out their constitutionally mandated duty in this election?
Oh, yes, I think the police has by and large carried out their constitutionally mandated duties, in spite of the lack of resources that some of them have. I understand that some of the policemen didn't even have guns, for example. And yet they were at the police stations. I've always said that when it comes to the polling stations, I always say that when it comes to the Ghana police, they are very professional. And they actually do, they do, yes, we have issues with them sometimes, depending on how they do their work. But when they set out to do their work, they actually do it very well. So they having the police service, that is their training. They are more trained to keep law and order as compared to the military. So it is the best thing to have them at least keeping the peace rather than the military at the polling stations. I actually think we should come to the situation where we don't need the military at polling stations. We are just voting. So there's actually no reason why we should be bringing the army to polling stations and all of that, just for citizens to vote. The police, I think the police are okay. If we equip the police well enough, I think that they will be able to keep the peace and they will be able to keep law and order. They are trained for that, rather than as compared to the military. So it's sad that we had this incident in Techiman. I don't have the full facts as to what really happened, but it was sad to hear that even when that somebody was shot and shot dead. I mean, then you are thinking, why would somebody have to lose their lives? Was that the only way to address the situation and all of that? So these are some of the things that we can take note of and improve and probe and find out what happened, because once a human life is lost, it just can't go away like that. But in future, I still think that it is the police we should be using. We should rather equip them very well. If we need, of course, the numbers, we can always talk about the numbers of police personnel that we have and work at that. So invariably, I've always said that the best for us, I always come back to institutions. The best for us is to work very well, equip our institutions, build them up to carry out what they are trained to do, so we don't have to rely on any other security section of our institutions that is not trained necessarily for that job. Yeah.
So the current I'm segueing now from the security situation back to the election itself and the outcomes, the possible outcomes on the presidential level. As we stand, with 256 constituencies confirmed, President Akufo-Addo is in the lead with 51%. The gap between President Akufo-Addo and former President Mahama is less than 500,000. In the last election, the gap between the two was over 1 million. What's the political meaning of this?
So we always say every election is a referendum on the incumbent government. So people look at the actions, the policies formulated, the work that have been done vis-a-vis the promises that were made to the people. So people will definitely look at what you have promised and what you have delivered it could be one of the reasons. That is the gap between what was promised and what was delivered could lead to an element of voter reduction. It could also be on the improvement of the opposition party or parties, maybe their ability to repackage themselves well, and their ability to design a policy or manifesto that connects with the needs and the aspirations of the people, their ability to widely campaign, and then to also sell these messages to people in a manner that they understand. It could also be general other reasons. I'm still not sure the level of voter turnout, whether there could be an element of apathy or what, we still don't know. But largely speaking, it has to do with people's assessment of the performance of the government, and then the gaps that exist between what was promised and what was delivered. It could also be from the effort of the opposition party, who have maybe campaigned better and very well and have been able to come up with policies that connect with the people. It could be any of these reasons, but it still shows that whatever the case might be, the NDC has improved in terms of narrowing that wider gap moving forward. And it shows that the MPP will have to learn its lessons and find out where they weren't doing things right. That has accounted for the huge drop in terms of, even though they are still leading in the process, but that element of difference suggests that something has been done, either positively from the opposition or negatively from the government of the day.
Now, the voter turnout was massively more. Okay, I won't use massively because we're not done. But so far, the trend of voter turnout seems to show a marked increase between this year and the last election. What would you say is perhaps the bigger indicator or the bigger means by which the opposition party has closed the gap? Would you say that it's just that even where they lose by smaller margins? Or is it that they have somehow, with the creation of new regions, the NDC has somehow found new strongholds?
I wouldn't, even though we are yet to still have the full complement, I am not tempted to think that they have found new strongholds. Because even though we have new regions, these regions were carved out of old regions. And then, so for example, if we take OT, and I think the OT was part of the Volta region, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And the Volta region was already the stronghold, the World Bank of the NDC and all of that. So yes, it is reasonable to have expected that because OT got a new region, they would have probably rewarded the ruling government with some seats. But surprisingly, I understand that the NDC still seems to have been very...
They claim to have won all
the seats in OT.
Yeah.
Would that be a new stronghold? I don't think so, because OT is still carved out of the Volta region. What it just means is that probably the ruling party will have to see what, because it means that giving them a region was not enough to build enough sufficient loyalty within that voter demographic. Yes, like Dr. Ludi said, when we are going for elections, it's more or less a referendum on the incumbent. And we also know from analysis that generally every government loses by a certain, they reduce their votes by a certain margin. When it is all done, we'll probably have to assess whether this government has gone beyond that margin or is still staying within that margin. But yes, clearly voters are sophisticated. Like the last time we were discussing, different things matter to different voters. So each voter has their probably what they are looking out for in a government, and then they decide between the various political parties what would work for them. What rather surprised me is it looks like another poor showing for the smaller parties. I don't think, did the smaller parties get up to 5%?
1.4%.
So not even 2%.
No.
So again, and we had how many?
12.
So there were 10 other.
10 other parties, and combined, those 10 other parties combined to get less than 2%. It brings, I always say that Ghanaians, sometimes when you are chatting, I've always heard people say that NDC and NPP are the problem in this country, and then I ask, so who has been voting for them? I always say, so who has been voting for them?
Right, good question. Good question.
So, yeah.
I mean, I suppose if you want to wrap up your thoughts on 2016 to 2020 and what it really means, this is what you have to contend with. About 15 million people voted in 2016, and 1 million of them, 1 million more of them preferred MPP to NDC, or preferred Akufo-Addo to John Mahama. In 2020, almost 17 million we are going to have about a turnout of almost 17 million by the time we're done. And yes, more of them preferred Akufo-Addo to John Mahama. But the John Mahama who was rejected by at least 1 million people, this time around, at least 500,000 people, have accepted him as their preference. If you compare to how many people rejected him in the last election. There are going to be 1 million explanations given for that. But of course, here on your election headquarters, you will hear the best and most educated opinions on why that has happened. That and more when we return.
Let me tell you what makes my cooking fire.
Joy 99.7 FM. My guests today who have done a bit of a marathon analysis session with us. Seidu Alidu, Dr. Seidu Alidu is a political scientist with the University of Ghana. Clara Berry-Cassity is a legal practitioner and a law lecturer with the University of Ghana. And it seems together we have pretty much solved all the problems of our nation. We can now go home proudly. But look, as our conversation has opened up different aspects of this race that we have ahead, that we still are yet to conclude, I think it's important for us to remember that business as usual, we will have to go back to business as usual, no matter what the outcome of this election is. So, I mean, let's take that to be the note on which we wrap up. As we go forward, whomever forms the next government, what are the priorities that they should pay attention to?
Of course, the first thing would be getting everybody back together, because like we said, some people will be happy, others will be. So we will have to all rally, whoever wins the government, we just have to rally around our nation and once more give our best to our nations. The elections is part of democracy. So that's we have taken part, which has been excellent. The Ghanaian people have done very well in the way that they have participated in the voting and all the electoral processes. Once we get over this, we still have to get behind our nation. And most importantly, the only way we can develop or we can grow as a society is by holding our elected and appointed officials accountable. So once this is done, we get behind our nation, we give the best to our nation, and we hold our leaders accountable on every step of the way and make sure that we improve the systems and the structures that we have. And then we reach out to our friends and family members who some of whom may be winning and some of whom may be hurting. And once more, of course, this is time to put aside. Once this is done, we've all done what we can do. It's time to get back together as a people and put our nation thing ahead, our national interests ahead once more, and start the discussion as to what do we need to do, how do we need to improve our societies, what can we do to get all of us to create a better country for all of us along the line. And I've always said that for me, what's most important for the Ghanaian people is set out in the institution. At the end of the day, the Ghanaian people want to live in dignity and also have equal opportunity to pursue their own, each and everyone's prosperity and happiness at the end of the day. I believe there is such a thing as a Ghanaian dream. And then after that, no matter who is in power, we all should be interested in the kind of society that we create for everyone in the society. Yes.
So I'll just continue from where Clara stopped. I think the element of unity is very important, and creating an enabling environment for the Ghanaian to realize his dream is also very important. But at the end of the day, too, I think the next government that is formed after 7th January should focus on rebuilding the economy and also bringing back livelihoods of the people who have lost jobs and who have been able, whose life and lifestyle has been devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic, and then also take strong, committed steps to fighting corruption. It's very important moving forward.
And no doubt, the future will also require us to deal with the old economic problems and health problems and education problems. And COVID-19 hasn't gone anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. We've only just stopped thinking about it for a short while. But the world has a vaccine, apparently. Do we have it? Are we going to end up with a government that can get us that vaccine? Is it even what people want? Do they understand? There's a lot.
There's a lot.
That's on our plate that we will have to maneuver our way through. We can't do it unless we're united. Listen, I want to say a big thank you to both of you for the time you've spent with us. Dr. Seidu Alidu is of course, a political lecturer from the University of Ghana. Clara Berry-Kasati is a law lecturer from the same university. And we thank you both so much for your sacrifice of time. God bless you both.
It's been our pleasure.
The election headquarters has so much more coming your way. We keep telling you that we have about 256 out of the 275 constituencies confirmed, right? So that means we know which of the constituencies have gone to NDC and which ones have gone to MPP. Yeah. A lot of that debate can be cleared up right here on your election headquarters. So stay exactly where you are. That will be coming up next. In the meantime, though, let me remind you that social media messages on the Super Morning Show are brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. And of course, EcoBank has great news for sales with EcoBank Pay, GHQR. There are no payment restrictions as we collaborate towards a common goal. It will allow you to make your payments easily. So make the move today and reach more customers with the new EcoBank Pay GHQR. Call 0302-213-999 or the 24/7 toll-free number, which is 3225. EcoBank cares. Remember to put in place measures to ensure the safety of your staff and customers. EcoBank is the Pan-African Bank. Now you can get 50 gig of data for free whenever you buy a Surfline device at any Surfline shop or retail outlet. Today you can get this. Okay, they are Ghana's premier 4G LTE network. They put the whole world in your hands. So whether it's internet for your family, your school, your office, or yourself, Ghana's only true 4G network has got you covered with the 50 gig offer. Walk into any of their shops or retail outlets in Accra, Tema, and Takrady to buy a device and redeem 50 gig of internet instantly for free. Surfline, it's about time. So the Joy Business Minute every morning comes to you by the kindness of Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG. We stand with you. So you can fill it up and reap the rewards thanks to CBG showing gratitude to all of us in the remittance loyalty promotion. It started November 23, and of course it continues while stock lasts. All you have to do is fill it up and reap the rewards every time you pick your remittances at any of CBG's 114 branches nationwide, including their dedicated remittance centers. Just fill out the form, and it's a little card that will be given to you on your first visit, and then every time you come back, you will get a reward. All right, so get your Abrochire Sika from CBG, fill the card and redeem your reward instantly. For more details, call 0302 216 000 or send an email to info@cbg.com.gh. You can also go to Consolidated Bank Ghana on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply. CBG, we stand with you. Now, Ghana, you inspire us. In the beginning, children in her community used to walk to school. Today, not only are her bamboo bikes making it easier for children, but Bernice Dapa employs many, many women as well. Ghana, in APSA, this is Africanacity. It's their commitment to helping people find a way to get things done. We all love Africanacity. To find out more, go to apsa.com.gh. Now, the best temperature guns are available at Kingdom Books and Stationery. They've got precise non-contact measurement, a backlight LCD display, and you can set an alarm value, among other things. Buy in bulk by calling 050-140-1050 or go to any of their shops across the country and their head office at Osu Akweje Junction. So listen, it's time to activate your MTN Momo account. Select your 4-digit PIN, re-enter the PIN to confirm it, and after that you receive a message to confirm activation and you're done. Now, if you don't get that message, don't worry, go to any of their digital channels or use the My MTN app for further assistance. Terms and conditions apply. Just Momo it everywhere you go. We day for you. Text messages are brought to you every day by Glycocritical Illness Plan, GSIP. It's in your best interest to survive. And GCB Bank, your bank for life. Now, Glyco, of course, cares about your claims, so go to any of their branches or glycolife.com, the website, to lodge your claims. Or, of course, if you want to pay your premiums, you can do so via Momo, for example, on 0591 441 473. Look, they care about you. So call 0202 222 113 for any information you need. And please observe all the COVID protocols and stay safe. Right, and now today's meal voucher is brought to you by Brasa, everything on the grill. Experience Accra's first and unique open grill restaurant, Brasa. The main attraction, the open grill, serves up straight from the fire skewers, quality steaks, seafood, accompanied by fresh veg, signature dishes and crafted cocktails. The perfect place for special occasions, events, or a night out. Lively atmosphere brings a colorful edge to your dining. Brasa is open 7 days a week. They are at The Edge in Laboni. If you want to book, call 030-295-9338. All COVID-19 measures are assured. Finally, please avoid touching your face. Avoid touching your mouth. Don't shake hands or hug people for now. And cover your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze. Those are your COVID-19 protocols. It's been a pleasure bringing you 5 hours of live election headquarters coverage. We continue though, because we're nowhere near done. I told you we have 256 confirmed constituencies. What does that mean? Who won what? Bernice Abubedu Lansa and Daniel Daze bring you details of that and so much more. Stay with us. We are your election headquarters. Abubedu Lansa and